This is the first time me and Barb ever recorded together.
Hi, all.
Oh my gosh, this is fun. We never get to look at each other.
Look, you're real.
I know. We're in the woods. We're in the wilderness. We're
And
out of
the
office. And we're doing a little mini vacay. So we decided that we were not going to cut the podcast cold turkey and let everyone know that we were going to sit the next 2 weeks out because, like Barb just showed you, we're out of office. And we still want to keep the ball rolling on Barb's journey of the season 2 arc of the Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast. So we thought while we were doing a little R&R in the woods and in the wilderness, regrouping with one another. It's so weird to look at you like this. I'm so used to looking at you right here. We're going to circle it back to our first guest on our second episode of season 1, the episode that started the first initial conversation about Barb's dating life with Miss Lisa Copeland, dating extraordinaire.
That's when it all started.
So if you were tuned in now, maybe you haven't listened to that episode. If you haven't, then when you listen to it, it will make a lot more sense. Maybe as you're following along that even a year ago, we were chatting about Barb getting out there and on the market. So thanks for listening to this week. We hope you enjoy. If you've already heard it, then don't skip it. Let it play in silence, but give us the streams and the listens and the likes. So is there anything you'd like to say?
No.
Do you want to address you being post-COVID?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, everyone.
No.
I'm feeling a little better.
She's got a smoker's cough, but we still love her.
So that's why I'm not talking a lot, because as soon as I start talking, I'll start coughing.
She can't laugh. It's okay. We're going to hit her on the back.
But I'm going to enjoy our vacation together.
We're going to pamper her. And we're together, finally.
Yay.
Okay, well, we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, as always. With that.
Wow, people crying.
Oh, because they're going to be sad. Okay. Got it. If you couldn't see what she was doing, she did wah wah. I don't know where she got that from, but it's like a cartoon character. It reminded me of Dennis the Menace. Yeah. But we're going to take 2 weeks off because we're going to be on vacay. We are going to come back with you following the journey, full steam ahead. Is it full steam ahead? Full speed? Full steam.
Full steam.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're going to come at you with episode after episode, continuing the Barb journey of finding love and getting to the finish line of our season 2 finale, which will be a 2-parter live speed dating matchmaking game where we will have some gentlemen for Barb to see if all the knowledge Barb has learned thus far is for her to be able to apply that to the men that will be courting her. So we will see how that goes. Until then, thanks for listening. We love you guys, as always.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
Call you later.
See you later. Talk later.
You do the call you later.
Yes. I'm hanging up now. Bye.
Love you guys.
Hit the line, what's the tea? They talk about everything. Hold on, I'm calling my mom. Paul is here, Barb too, and they talk about everything. Hold on, I'm calling my mom.
Hello.
You need to give that back to Grandma.
Okay. I will.
If people only knew that I literally asked my grandma for that at her house so we could use it potentially as a prop for...
That's why you should come in and be like, hi.
What do you mean?
That's how we should start it each time.
You said this last episode.
I know. I feel like it's like a thing. We gotta have like a gimmick.
Yeah, well, we only have one, so I'm like, how am I doing it? And who's on the other end? Do we know? Stay in the frame.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom podcast. We have myself and obviously Barbara. Say hi, Barbara.
Hi.
We're excited that you guys are hopefully listening to this episode and you're getting into it and, following our journey, wanting to get good old Barb out and about.
A new baby daddy.
Not a new baby, a baby daddy. Those tubes they're out. Those tubes are tied.
A new stepfather.
Yeah, a new stepdaddy. I was like telling you that I saw, it was like some study like showed that like more women in their 50s are getting on like dating apps ever before. There's like this surge of like older women that are getting
Hey.
getting like, like finding love and like a new chapter of their life. We got Barb on a dating app. Like she's out there.
Yes.
The bitch is out there. She's ready. She's gonna do her thing. She's taking over South Jersey. Watch out.
Good old South Jersey, y'all.
Ew. What I want you to do though is like put your location to LA. So then, when you officially like come out here, we can set up date after date after date after date. Just have them lined up for you already. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be lining up for me.
Line them up.
Line them up.
But this is a big step for you. You've not had the best of luck when it comes to men, aka my father.
One man.
Yeah.
Track record. One.
Yeah, but I feel like the history feels like it could have been the challenges and hurdles we've gone over feels like a lifetime of men. It's interesting. Like, I feel like when I've dated, I brought you along on the journey of like, boyfriends being in the mix, and, you've heard like stories and maybe things that you never needed to hear. And like, just, kind of being a part of my life when I was dating, the heartbreaks, the sadness, the happy moments, ups and downs, and I said, it's going to like, I want my mom to find so much happiness and find this like new chapter of life, being 56 and find.
Cut that out.
And I, really feel like it's interesting that like, you've seen me date and go through things, but I've never seen you do that. And I think it's going to be like a huge like awakening to like get to experience that. And you do that.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I'd be lying if I said I would not be nervous to like have you go through the things that I, have experienced. Like, I don't want to see my mom crying because somebody like some fuckboy like fucked her over and did something like, I want to protect you, but then it's like I can't, so it's like
I know it's a hard dynamic.
And I think people who are listening and know us, it's like you've only been with one person your whole life, which was my dad. And I always say that I think like you found a lot of comfort and safety with him because that was all you ever knew.
Yeah.
And then now it's like get out there and find somebody and do that. And I think you get in the way of yourself more than you could. Like you overanalyze like what this future is gonna look like, and you freak yourself out by doing that.
Absolutely.
So what's your ideal man?
That's a good question. I mean, definitely someone who is family oriented, caring, kind, funny, supportive, not financially, emotionally.
I mean, we're not mad about financial.
We're not bad. No, but that's, I don't want that to be, my bar.
No, you're not looking for a sugar daddy. You do well for yourself.
Yeah. But I think they're my qualities of someone.
I think if you were to get married, it'd be like I'm too old to be calling somebody dad, right?
Yes. Ew. And I don't even know if the married thing is like, I like coming home by myself. Like I did that more years than I've been alive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I worry that you get too comfortable doing that.
Yes, and that's also, yes, that's something to definitely analyze.
I think there's nice quietness to just, having your own space in a vibrator. But at the end of the day, you need to get out there, and like you want
Big
to do
Blue.
Wait, what's it called?
Big Blue.
Is that what its name is? Big Blue. Is that the brand?
No.
Girl.
I don't know what the brand's name.
Oh, is that your nickname for it? Big Blue?
Yeah.
Oh, girl. Not Big Blue. Oh, my God. But, like, you do want to go on nice, like, experiences, and you want to have, like, you want to do these things that you've never done. You want to go out, you want to travel, you want to have experiences, and, like, you need somebody to do that. The person that you're with before is not the person that you're going to be getting cultured and, like, experiencing those really beautiful moments.
Yes.
I mean, every vacation we went on was always a shit show with this person, but I digress. So I'm like, you want to be able to, you want to get the time that you missed
I
out
want
on.
to live my life. I want to
Yeah.
live a nice, fun life with someone.
As you should.
And right. And even like just the companion of just having to be like, oh, we just had, you know, things to talk about, going to a dinner, not sitting there in quietness
or
and
in a hostile environment.
yeah, having you know, being able to have a good conversation.
Well, today's guest is going to be the perfect person for us, and that's why I'm so excited how timely this worked out. We have Lisa Copeland. She is the leading expert in dating over 50. She's really created a space that, you know, she's found so much success in, and she was doing this even before Golden Bachelor, and, you know, people were really acknowledging outlet or platform for, you know, people that were a little bit older to get their groove back. I think she's going to be able to give you that little pep in your step that you need, find that confidence to get out there. And I think
some pointers. Yep.
Yeah. Like, you know, what's like shooting your shot at 50 now, right? Like, what does that look like? I mean, are one-liners, like, do you do pickup lines? How do you be smooth at 56? What's that look like? Like, what's a pickup line?
Right here, baby.
That's your pick. That's what you do.
Oh, that's
what you do to somebody.
That's like, my smooth.
Like if you if you were to like somebody, what do you do?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, do you bat your eyelashes? Do you flip your hair?
No, I don't know.
Okay. I felt the confidence in that tremendously. That's great. She's going to instill some knowledge in us. She's going to give you, hopefully, a better step of pickup line than whatever little twirl you just did. And she's going to, you know,
pointers. Yes.
Yeah, give us some pointers and, you know, help me even as from a child perspective to watch my mom navigate and go through this. So we're excited to have Lisa on today.
Let's welcome Lisa.
We have Lisa Copeland here. She is an amazing best-selling author. She is an expert in the world of dating, especially for women who are over the age of 50. And I'm like, you are the go-to girl when it comes to this, you know, this topic. And we were so excited to have you on because I know when we briefly chatted, I was kind of telling you about my mom and like, you know, coming from a kid's perspective. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is so much fun to be together.
I'm excited. Well, Lisa, I said, let the people know. And like, you know, you're that girl, like in this space, like you've created this whole, you know, just area of, you know, women that are like in their 50s and 60s that maybe sometimes like, you know, feel like they're done. Like there's nothing else out there for them. And like, you've kind of really were ahead of the time. And like we were saying on the phone the other day, like Golden Bachelor, like is taken off. People love that shit. They eat it up now.
Yeah.
And you started.
So tell us a little bit about your background with it.
Well, I started back in 2012 and I wanted to start a business. And I had a business coach that asked me, what do you like to do? I said, I like to date. So that is how I started, but it goes so much deeper than that. And I was ahead of the time because everyone back then in 2012 was doing over 40. And I said, no, this is very different over 50. And my clients, I've had clients have success in their 50s, 60s, and early 70s, mid 70s, actually, and really have success dating. And it is possible, and they get very discouraged. So I'm glad we're doing this so that people do have hope this can happen in their lives.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like there's such either it's, you know, in your 20s, you're all in, then you have that little period, then 50s come and you're in situations that you didn't think you would be in. And you don't really know where to start, begin, end.
Exactly. So I did not always love dating. Okay. So when I first divorced, I was in my mid 40s and I cried all the time because I just didn't understand the mechanics of dating. And then I did end up in a second marriage, totally based on chemistry. And we could talk about chemistry too, because it's huge with where people make huge mistakes about thinking this is a guy from a hormonal rush going through them. But it was after that when I came out and I'm like, I need a coach. I need someone that can help me figure this out. And there was no one out there. There was just no one helping women in their 50s. So I called my sister and told her I was doomed forever. Never have another relationship.
Little did you know. Little did you know.
And she said, get real. You are so resourceful. You'll figure it out. And then that's when I started to have fun dating. And then I created my business. It's really is way more than about dating, but we can cover that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, what do you think, you know, so a little bit of background about us. I kind of told you, and this was initially, you know, the force, you know, behind my mom is like, you know, as a child, and I don't know how many clients you get where like, you know, do you get a lot of, you know, clients that come in and their children are kind of pushing like their parent, you know, their mom to kind of get back out there? Because I think like any kid who loves their mom like as much as I do, you want them to have a nice, happy life, and you want them to like enjoy, you know, the things that come with getting older and finding love again.
That can go both ways. Some kids very much encourage their parents to get out there and date. And some kids, especially when it's a situation where it's the loss of their father, they can have a pretty hard time picturing their mom with someone else. And divorce too, they have a hard time. It can go both ways. Barbara, you're very lucky that he really is so supportive of you. My kids were.
Tell her that again, Lisa. Tell her that again.
Barbara, you're so lucky. Great. Well, my kids were always very supportive too, but they had some opinions at different times, but they were still very supportive.
That's good. That's nice.
What do you think is like the biggest hurdle, you know, for somebody to get out there and like, you know, like, what do you notice in your clients? Where is there resistance of like, just, you know, their self-worth, or like, you know, where does that stem from, you think?
I think the hardest part is getting out there when you haven't dated since your 20s. You have an older body. Many have had children, gone through menopause, or they're going through it, and their bodies are shifting and changing. And they think, who's going to like me this way? And the thing is men's bodies are shifting and changing too. And we just don't realize, or that, you know, we don't think about this. We just think it's us. So as women, we bend like pretzels to get guys to like us. And we really lose ourselves. And then we become them a lot of times, or we're just not real because we're trying to impress them so much. They need to impress you too.
Right.
This is a two-way street. So it's definitely confidence and self-worth, because we compare ourselves to what we look like in our 20s.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you were married young and that's all you know. And then again, you find yourself in your 50s and you're in your head thinking, oh, but that's not, you know, you look very different. Your mind's very different. What you want's very different.
I'm going to take that back. What you just said, what you want is very different. No, what we want is usually what we know. We subconsciously think we want something different, but we almost always have the most chemistry and attraction to the same guy in different clothes, different hair, different shoes, different job, but he has the same stuff that we were dealing with past husbands, boyfriends, both.
Okay, that's not encouraging.
Well,
this is why we have you on, because I'm like, no, check her, Lisa.
You know, I tried to be very self-aware that is not what I want.
That is the familiarity. And what I help women discover, we call it the pattern chart. I have everybody create what's called a quality man template. That is your clear vision today. So you stop dating like you did in your 20s, number one, and you figure out who is your old type. Because if your old type worked, you would be with your old type. So, but you have to get clarity on who it is. So you do stop dating them. And then my clients go out and of course they look for their old type, but they have this template that helps them see fairly quickly, oh my God, I'm right back where I was. And then also, before they go out and date, we create a template called a quality man template so they can get clear on what they want to date. Because when we last dated was when we were actually hormonally geared to having babies. And now at this time in our life, it's totally different. I mean, you're not looking to have a baby. You're looking to have a play partner, someone who has your back through the ups and the downs of life.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different way of dating. But we try to date like we did in our 20s because that's all we know. And our teens, actually, too.
As she says yesterday, oh my gosh, I wish I would have adopted. I should adopt. I'm like, girl, this is way your way. It's past it at this point. Let's find you a man first, and then we'll get into that.
Well, what about the women that are in their 50s, like my age group, that have been with their ex-husbands since they were 15 or in their teens and never had any dating experience, and now again they find themselves here. So how do you even approach that?
So I met my husband, my first husband, when I was 18. So I hear what you're saying. And I have a lot of women who have only dated their husbands, and I have other people that have dated more men. So it's really good when we look at that pattern chart to get clear of the good and the bad of the relationship, because you have to get clear on what was working and what wasn't, because there's some things you might want again. But you won't like what I'm going to tell you now. You just
no, we want to lay it on her.
But we usually get into relationships with people to work out issues from family of origin. With the parent, we had an issue, a family of origin. And when I first got married to my kid's father, my sister said to me, you married mom. I go, what are you talking about? Right. And then I did it 2 more times.
Lisa.
I wasn't a dating coach then. That's what I'm a dating coach. And it goes so much deeper than just going online or hiring a matchmaker, or you really have to get clarity on what it is you are looking for. And you want it at this age, actually at all ages, you want to have values that match, because this, not chemistry, is what sustains a relationship. But most people go out and they're looking for the zing of that initial attraction. Yeah. And when you're looking for the zing, what you're looking for is a hormonal rush. And we could be addicted to that hormonal rush. And when it goes away, we can throw a guy away when we're supposed to be going to a deeper level, because chemistry is not sustainable.
Yeah.
That doesn't create a relationship, especially at this age.
Well, I think I get nervous sometimes about her. Like, I'd be lying if I said, like, I want her to get out there and live this life. But then I get nervous as her son, because, like, in a way, like, I have gone through dating as I've, gotten older, and I've had like experiences. And then, I like would tell my mom, maybe sometimes we teeter the line, like I said, of boundaries, where I kind of tell her everything. But, I get nervous about, like, oh my God, is my mom going to get heartbreak? Is she going to find Mr. Right as soon as she, taps into this world and really puts herself out there? And, I know how that feels. So it's like, you kind of want to protect your mom too, of not having that happen to her.
Oh, you are such a good son. I think in the past life you were her mother.
Yeah, see, that's Lisa, that's a whole other episode. You
want to come back for that episode, Lisa?
I would love to. I think for you, Paul, you kind of have to disconnect a little bit from outcome, because when you're going out to date, I always tell my clients, I want you to go out to date and just have fun meeting someone new and interesting. Do not try and figure out if they're the one. Just see how you want them to fit into your life after that first date. Either you want nothing to do with them, you want to go on a second date, or you want him to just be a friend. You have no romantic interest. Now, that last one goes back to chemistry, because a lot of my clients, they will say they never would have seen their guy without that template because they did not have initial chemistry, but the chemistry grew over time. And it's about giving things a chance. And yes, can you have heartbreak? You bet. But it comes with part of love. We have to go out and we have to try and we heal. That's the good thing. If you got to take the time to heal, but we heal and it really does work. I mean,
I think do you have speaking of healing, do you have like a set time? Some people jump right into things immediately after a divorce or a separation or, being a widow or whatever the situation, they jump right into something versus what's your opinion on, waiting time or jumping right in, doing it?
Good question. I think most people that jump right in, they have a hard time being alone. And they've been such a part of a couple. I remember when my ex-husband and I broke up, I still had a kid at home. So she was a junior in high school and her brother was in college, but I had someone still at home. But I remember after that second marriage, all of a sudden I was eating meals alone for the first time. And all of a sudden I had to recreate my life. And I like to think of this time as a time, it's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard, but it's very doable and it's so important. You have to get back to yourself because as women, we often give our own stuff up. And then you're sitting there one day divorced or widowed and you're going, who am I? What do I like to do? Because we forget. So it's really always important to have your own life when you're in a relationship, not give yourself up. But you do want to take time. I mean, you got to take time to heal. If you jump right in, you're going to just reattract the same thing, or you're going to, you're going to fill time, but it may not be the right person for you.
Right.
But then I call that a practice relationship. Any relationship that is not a relationship, an ultimate relationship, is what I call a practice relationship, and you learn from it. But the people that jump in, they're not doing it. They're doing it usually to fill space that they feel in their heart and their head.
Yeah. Well, you kind of mentioned too, which I thought was important, in our family, we have quite the characters and, with relationships and, like my mom's mom, she passed away being single. My mom's aunt passed away being single. Like, I think sometimes, and I don't want to speak for my mom, but that is like a fear in her mind too of like, am I going to be like, this family member or, like where she kind of gets in her own way of stepping out of that.
Yeah, like it's two extremes in my family, always in a relationship or like right into one or none whatsoever. So they're so extreme that I'm like, okay, where do I fit in at this point? That's healthy.
So, Barbara, as your mom brought up, the only thing you can do is go up, dip your toe in the water and try. I mean, it's usually my clients have so many fears. The interesting thing is I can take them right up really fairly quickly to when it's time to go online. And all of a sudden they stall out. And that is because of the fears of, am I going to give myself up? Am I going to lose my independence? How do I live with someone? How do I do, it's all these fears we have that we're not looking at. We stop dating. Now, when they're working with me, I don't let them stop dating. We work through those fears because they come up and our limiting beliefs come up too about them. Suddenly we go, no one's going to like us, as we talked about before, because we're older. They do. or there's no men out there. I had a client, she had followed a guy to South Dakota, and then they ended up breaking up. One of those places up there. It may not be South Dakota, but somewhere up there. And she said to me, there's no guys here. And I said, well, how big is your town, or how big is it where you live? And she said, oh, about 100,000. I go, oh, have you met everybody? And she started laughing. We'll end up in a relationship. The thing is all our fears start coming in. And this is the benefit of having a coach. I have coaches in my life because we can't see our own stuff.
Yeah.
And I need someone in areas of my life too to say, hey, you're telling yourself a story. Let's get through this and move on. And yeah. Does that
Yeah.
answer your question, Barbara?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, because I have my fears. I have, the baggage, and then I have the fears, and then I have, no, I want to be independent. So I'm just going to not date, and I'm going to just, I like my independence. And then there's other times that I'm like, oh, I guess I could.
Well, I think her thing is that like, not speaking for her, but like just being in like unfortunately a really shitty marriage. Like you put up with someone's bullshit for so long that my mom just like, I don't have the energy
Yeah.
to do this and go on this merry-go-round again. And I think that's another thing that kind of gets in her way too.
Yeah, that's what I mean by the baggage. Like I'm bringing that on, and I'm like, I don't know if, it took me so many years now to get to the point that I feel very different than when I came out of that marriage. And I'm like, I would never want to go back into that and bring bad habits.
So, those two tools I told you about, the pattern chart and the quality man template, that is what helps women overcome that, because they're going out there looking for something different. Now, like I said at first, you want familiar because we all like to stay in our comfort zone. It's hard to try something different. And the thing about that is it's having clarity on what you don't want and really what you do want. And the other thing is really to start out, you can make friends with guys to just hang around with. So when I tell women you have choice over 50, like when you were younger, it was usually about a daddy for my baby, whether we wanted kids or not. That's what we're wired for.
She should have known right then and there that was where she was.
I mean, but look at what I got from it. Do you know what I mean? So
your mom from a past life. He's wonderful. He's so loving.
Oh, thanks. That's why I knew I loved you when we first started hyping me up, saying all the best compliments.
But yeah, thank you. I'm glad I give you good compliments. You're welcome, rather.
And,
you're giving us a lot.
And I mean, go to that, having two wonderful sons who've been through a lot. I don't want to be like, bring that relationship in yet. And then it, like he said, they'll go through it with me, because that's just our dynamic. So, I mean, they'll feel if I'm hurt from it or, whatever from it, that I think that's the thing too, is like, oh, I don't want to bring any more chaos into their life. If it's, I could have to date 10 men before I find somebody, or,
That's okay. And you don't have to bring every man into their life. And I was going to tell you, remember, it was just about baby daddies when we were young. When you and I were young, everybody got married to have a kid. And not like, I never thought I'd have kids, but I have the best kids and grandkids. But you don't have to go for that today. Today, you can go for a friend, a male friend. You can go with friends with benefits. Women can get very hurt because of the bonding that happens from the oxytocin being released. You can have just a boyfriend, someone to do stuff with. You can have a long-term committed relationship, living together or living apart, or marriage. And I have clients doing the gambit. But I will tell you, some want each of those. But what I will tell you is your fears are sitting in the way, and they're so strong, those fears that you have, that they're actually blocking you from even being able to do this. Yeah. And you're also adding on top of it, the icing on that cake is, well, all these women in my family were single, but you don't have to be if you don't want to be. And the key is for you to take the step. It's
that's a big step.
You have to get through those fears.
I said, I'm selfishly manifesting for my mom to move to California, find a nice older man who maybe has some older kids. This is sick, right? That I'm like producing what I expect. I'm like, that he's got a really like nice life and maybe he's retired and she can have a nice, comfortable life and go on these nice adventures and luxurious trips. And that's what I envision for her. But that sounds a little crazy that I'm thinking that for her. So
well, I love that for you. But Barbara, what do you want?
That's the question.
I mean, that sounds lovely if we can paint that picture.
Okay, so remember I told you part of this quality man template is getting clear on the values that you want in a man. It goes deeper. That's why so many women fail at dating, because they're just going out there and looking for luxury trips, which are great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you can go on a great trip and it's gorgeous around you. You can have the most beautiful room or beautiful, expensive trip, and the two of you don't talk and you're lonely. So it's why you have to get clarity on, or you want to get clarity on what's important to you.
Yeah.
Because those things, I know what you're talking about, Paul, because, hey, I used to have this dream. Prince Charming would come in, swoop me off my feet, pay for everything, and we would never argue. That was ridiculous. But,
I mean, it sounds perfect, but
right.
Oh, yeah, it sounds perfect. I mean, yeah, we wouldn't argue. Well, chances are we probably weren't talking either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what would you recommend though for, like for someone that is like listening to this or like my mom, like where are good places do you think like women that are over 50 can meet men? Like I think some of them also have the anxiety of like social media or like dating apps and putting themselves out there. Like where's a good, where do you suggest or recommend for people maybe to get out there that, they could find somebody?
I think the dating apps and dating sites are a great place because mainstream dating sites over 50 are used a lot because a lot of people, as they're getting older, like some of mine in my 60s and 70s, don't really know how to operate those apps. And it takes them a little bit of time, but that's okay. I've had clients meet people in real life. They've gone to meetups. I had a client meet her guy at the license bureau. You can meet a guy anywhere. It's being able to flirt with them. And it's the big thing is start talking to men everywhere and don't see them as, oh, is he a guy? Is he a guy? Just start talking and getting used to being around male energy and being able to converse. And you can meet someone at the grocery store, at Whole Foods. You can meet them anywhere, Starbucks. It's a matter of really talking to people. But the majority of my clients have met men online because that's the biggest place where single men are.
Yeah, that's the scariest place that I would say to go to do. I wish it was more just me bumping into someone at a grocery store face to face. That would be amazing. But I think that apprehension of the dating apps for my generation is that's very scary.
So what are you afraid of with the dating apps?
I watch a lot of TV.
Right there.
He's watching the Tinder swindler and all the...
First of all, stop watching that stuff.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. Just that awkwardness, like you're typing to someone and you're texting and, like there's not real conversation kind of,
Well, there is a methodology to all this and being able to do this. And like I said earlier, it really starts within you of how you feel about yourself, because what makes it scary is if you're not feeling confident about it, that's part of what makes it scary. And we can only attract from where we're at. So if you think there's no one out there, or you think there's only Tinder swindlers or scammers, or what was it? Bravo did
Dirty John. Yeah.
Yes, Dirty John. Yeah. If you're watching only that stuff, that's the vibration you start putting out there. So it's more likely to attract that because that's all you're focusing on versus zillion good guys. The other part of that is if your friends talk crap about dating, you have to stay away from them too, because everybody has a story. They'll tell you, I could write a book, they'll say.
Yeah.
Except don't listen to it. It's because they don't know what they're looking for. They're going out there looking for that initial attraction and chemistry. And when they don't feel it, they go, my type is just non-existent. And that's because they're looking for the needle in the haystack. And the women tell me who find love, they will say, I never thought I would never have seen him. I would have passed him by before I knew what I wanted. And I'm in the best relationship of my life. There's good people out there. But
yeah, I believe there's good people. Yeah, I do.
I think it's super enlightening for people to hear something like this. My mom has a lot of friends, now that have gone through divorce. And I like to call it kind of like this renaissance. Like there's a group of like my mom's friends that are like in their 50s that, you could just see such a difference of their character, personality. People have gotten sober and just a different perspective on life. And I think these conversations help people not feel alone, that it's like, we're all scared, like, maybe, you're hesitant. And I think having this, communication is great to have, people find comfort in it.
Yeah. I think the thing we have to watch out for though, in those conversations, and that's why I gave you the advice of don't listen to your friends' dating stories, is because we can go to victim and we can go to this happened to me. And I like to turn that around and say, this happened for you to learn what, it's because I'm a really big believer in anything we go through, we're learning something from it. And so that's why people love to feel that victim, because it keeps them, believe it or not, it feels very good to tell the story. But then after you're done with the story, you're still sitting there in victim, and it keeps you actually stuck in quicksand where you can't move forward. A lot of people can't get past their stories. And that's a problem for finding love.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I hear that from, the stories from friends that are now, divorced and on their own and trying to look for love. Yeah.
We tell ourselves about people. Everybody does it when they go on a date. They look at a guy or they look at his profile and they say, well, this is so-and-so or so-and-so, and this is what they have. And then they show up on the date together. It doesn't match because the story in our head doesn't match the reality of who the person is. Doesn't mean they lied. It means our story lied.
With the dating apps, you really kind of have to be very honest with yourself of what you're looking for in order to get that perfect match.
Yes, you have to know what you're looking for beyond chemistry and he's cute and has money. There's so much deeper stuff than that. And that's what's going to create this long-term relationship. And that's why women fail. They're looking for the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Lisa, what do you feel about, I feel like there's a lot of studies with stats and statistics on this. And I feel like even my mom's had some friends in their age group. And I even know older people, like, my mom who's dating, putting herself out there, and men are sexting at like this age, like, in their 50s, like what, like, that's a whole nother ball game too. Like to get out there, like, is that like, are there red flags to that? What's your hot take on that?
Okay, so I had another story before I was a dating coach.
This is like back to my story real quick.
These are real stories, not made up in my head stories. Younger guy, younger than me. He came to do some work on my house. He was really, really cute. I mean, really cute. He started flirting with me. And he had my phone number because he was doing work on my house. And he said to me, I really like you, yada, yada, yada. Next thing I know, he is sexting pictures of his junk. And I'm like, okay, so men do this because they're proud of it. Women think this is too aggressive. It's like a big turnoff for women.
Yeah.
And so men definitely will push for sex, but you as a female get to hold the boundary to what is okay and what's not okay. And I just said, block. My house.
Well, especially for younger guys too. I think, that's just so.
Stop payment on the check.
Check what's true before you start sex. But you can say to someone, and men will try. They will try. They will get onto the sex train pretty quickly. And as a woman, you need to know where you stand with all that. And if they're doing it, the thing we don't realize, because it feels so aggressive to us, we don't realize they're just attracted to us. To us, it feels like you're creepy, because it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not safe. Doesn't mean necessarily they're all creeps. Some will be. But you get to set the boundary, which will help you figure this out.
Right.
And if they don't honor that boundary, then they're a creeper.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's the last thing I need is my mom to get some unsolicited pic, and she's like, "What?" Like, I'm like, that's a whole another chapter in this where I'm like, people can be aggressive, and like, especially for me when I was single, I had like looked into gay dating apps, and I've been on them, and I'm like, that's aggressive. So I can imagine for men also doing that in a straight dynamic that can happen.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It is scary. And but it doesn't happen all the time. But men saying something like, well, do you like sex? That can happen a lot. But that doesn't make them a creeper. You just say, I feel like I need to get to know you better before we go down this road. And if they keep pushing, like I said, toodaloo. And as women, we have a hard time saying toodaloo because we feel we're going to hurt their feelings. But the people we hurt are ourselves.
Yeah.
Boundaries. That's what it's all about, honestly.
Yep.
Lisa, like this has been so like I'm like I can tell my mom's wheels are.
I totally.
Like, I think this is like the pep in her step that she needed. That's why I was like, this podcast is such a great like platform. It really is, because I feel like we're on these journeys together. I know I need to, like you said, Lisa laid down the line and she said, Paul, step away, let mom go out on her own journey. I'm here helping her, hold her hand a little bit to, get her out there and find comfort. So like you coming on and it's just amazing. And I love talking to you. And I just was like, this is so, even for me, as her son, to like hear what dating in that, in this chapter of your life looks like.
It can be fun. Just, you got to know what you want. You got to know your boundaries. You need to know specific things so that you're honoring yourself and going out there feeling empowered. Because what's happening right now, you don't feel empowered. You feel disempowered. And that's why it's so scary.
So anybody who's listening who wants to be my stepdad is what we'll say.
And can I share my website for anyone that wants to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Let everybody know where they can like find you on Insta, social media, all of it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Insta, my social media person does that. So I can't tell you that, but you can't find my website. You can always look me up as Lisa Copeland, dating coach. But although there is a Lisa Copeland who sells cars in Dallas too. But if you put dating coach behind it, that works.
Yes,
and
don't get confused with the car dealership lady.
No.
This Lisa is the real deal. This Lisa is the real deal.
You'll be texting, negotiating a car deal, and you're thinking you're negotiating something else.
And the name of my website is findaqualityman.com, because everybody's looking for that quality man. So it's findaqualityman.com, or you could just look me up, Lisa Copeland, dating coach.
Thank you. Yes, I definitely. I even hope all my friends watch this so they can get more of a better insight, just like I learned today. Yeah. So thank you.
I hope so too, and just dip your toe.
Yeah. Just
with
a little
the approval of Paul.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, no.
He doesn't need to know every detail.
Well, see, I think that's where that needs to be a whole nother episode, because I'm like, we've blurred the lines of that boundary. So we're all a work in progress in this journey.
Yeah, that sexting text that I would get, I would be immediately being like, Paul, look.
Okay, that one you can check, because it's creepy when it happens. That is creepy.
Yes, but anybody who's listening, check Lisa out. She seriously is the best. I'm like, just like your energy is so amazing. I'm like, I feel like we're old-time friends. So you definitely will have to join us again. And this is super informative. So
yes,
thank
you so much.
today.
Yes.
Oh, thank you both. You're great. And Barbara, he's so great. I'm so glad you have such a wonderful son who loves you so much. Now, back off.
Lisa said it, period. She said
I was just going to say, period. That's a take.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Lisa. I will take everything you said today to heart. Yes.
Thank you both. Good luck.
I
Thank you. I will say I do have like a good read on people a lot of the times. My son even says that
Not my father, but yeah, everything else.
I was 15.
Chemistry.
It was my first, my only, that's it. So
Dan, this was so
God.
much fun.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want you to come back. I would love to like have you on as, you know, we'll check in. So
yeah.
We can see how you're doing, Barbara, if you've done anything.
All right. That sounds good. Yeah. We'll definitely do like a follow-up.
Yes.
I would love to do a follow-up. And Barbara, if you ever have questions, just reach out.
All right. I will. Thank you.
I'm so afraid. I mean, I understand your fears, but and that's why you need to be able to, you have to recognize those fears because they're really blocking you and you're not alone. You're so not alone in that.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking about that timeline. Just the timeline, like how much time do you give yourself before it's unhealthy?
It's never unhealthy if it's your choice to stay single. But if you're missing something, then it's unhealthy because then it becomes excuses.
Yeah.
For why you're not doing it. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, Lisa. You're the best. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening to our episode with Lisa Copeland.
It's always fun to revisit with Lisa when we first met her.
It really is. And I'm also thinking, like, just a year ago, you came a long way from the woman that you are now in your dating journey. Aren't you proud of yourself?
So proud.
You should be. We still haven't locked a date down, but at least she's moving along. That's all we can ask for, right?
Everybody goes at their own pace.
That very true, Barb. Very true. We'll let you slide. We're going on vacation, so I won't go too hard on you. So everybody, like we mentioned earlier in the episode, 2-week summer vacay. So we will be out for the next 2 weeks. But don't forget us when we return on August 4th and we're back to normal programming. Until then, make sure that you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. Make sure if you want to get into the conversation, email us at holdonI'mCallingMyMomPodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube at Hold On, I'm Calling My Mom. And as always, please keep listening and supporting on Spotify and Apple. And we thank you, as always, for listening. Love you guys.
Bye.
Call you later.
Call you later.